Hey everybody, welcome to Decipher the Media. This is episode number 17 and part 2 of my talk with Joe Bucci. I'm glad to be back once again with him, continuing our discussion right off of where we left off the last time. So in the last episode we had discussed a lot about his grant and the film that he was working on. He had actually just wrapped up filming of Child Warfare last month, which is pretty awesome to see. I would definitely recommend going to see that film once it's out. It definitely sounds like he put a lot of work into that, and it sounds like such a fantastic project. So definitely give him all your love and support on that. Following up on that discussion, we kind of got back into a little bit about what projects he's been working on. Other than that, he actually took one of his other films that he was working on, called Being in Your 20s, and turned it into a book. So he was talking about what it was like to take something that he initially wrote as a script and then sort of expanding that story through writing it into a novel. So it's really interesting to see how he converted this project from one medium to the next. Besides that, we also talked about what we've been doing to keep busy during the pandemic, what sort of hobbies he's been doing, and what the other projects he's been sort of thinking about starting. And then we sort of wrap it all up just by shooting the shit about just random films coming out. A couple, actually, we touched a lot on like some Christmassy stuff, which is, I guess appropriate for the season since it's like November now. But really interesting discussion. I mean, it's always a pleasure to talk to Joe, and I really appreciate him taking the time, coming from taking the time out of his busy schedule to stop by and just talk about whatever. Again, I would definitely recommend following him and his projects that he is working on, including Child Warfare. I will link up ways to follow him on this podcast, wherever it gets posted. Without further ado, here is Decipher the Media, number 17, with Joe Bucci, part 2. Enjoy.
I really want to make a paranormal movie about aliens.
That would be great.
Or turn that 4chan story of the guy that went through the zombie prison, turn that into a movie. That would, dude, I read that. It was almost like Overlord in real time, and like,
oh yeah,
in real time.
I forgot that. I just saw Overlord not that long ago.
I watched that movie on a plane.
Yeah.
There's like a 7-year-old sitting right next to me. I felt really bad because it was super gory. There's like monsters.
Oh yeah. Oh.
There's like Nazi zombies.
That one. I mean, I cringed at that one part where that dude like where his neck like went back. Like,
yeah.
Behind his back and stuff, and I was just like, oh no.
Yeah, I watched that on a plane. There was a child next to me. And like I had my headphones up all the way, so that kid heard it.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's kind of how I got introduced to a lot of horror stuff when I was like 4 years old, and like my older brothers are like probably a little bit older than that, but my older brothers would always have like really gory movies on and stuff, and I end up like whether I want to or not seeing parts of it. And I mean, at the time it was like the worst thing ever, and I'd have like terrible nightmares and stuff, but now I'm just like so desensitized to it. I'm just like, I mean, I understand the appreciation for it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I was never a huge horror fan.
Yeah, I'm not either.
Like
I like certain kinds of like horror movies, but like, I mean, slasher flicks, not really a big for me. I mean, it has to have a good story to it. That's
Yeah.
the only way that I will get into a horror movie. Or it has to be like basically a parody of itself in a way. Like I love like Evil Dead is sort of like it makes fun of itself in a certain way.
Yeah, like so that's a different. I don't consider Evil Dead like I don't consider that a horror. That's more of a satire. That's almost like Scary Movie, like those type of movies in my opinion. Like they're like a satire horror.
I mean, I don't think it's as self-aware as Scary Movie is, but it's like it definitely like plays on those horror tropes in that way. And like what was it? Probably my favorite horror movie. Cabin in the Woods. Is that the one?
Oh yeah, that's the one where that one's super self-aware. That's with what's his name? That's with Thor.
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, that's with Thor. Where he's playing the douchey guy.
Yeah.
And then I almost had Merman.
Yeah, and then he later gets killed by Merman.
What was the ones they picked? They picked like incestual fucking hillbillies.
Like hillbilly zombies or something like that. Yeah. God,
like
that was great.
Yeah.
So, yeah, stuff like that I like. Yeah.
But I can't see myself much as a horror director. Like I would do like something like that story that I read. Like I feel like I could do something like that, just because it's more action based probably.
Yeah.
But I really see myself as like a comedy director, which I actually it's called Being in Your 20s. A script I actually wrote into a book.
Oh, cool.
I finally finished my book. Like
wow.
So I'm editing it now. I'm hoping to get it out by like September. It's 100,000 words.
Nice.
So like I grew up and I'm dyslexic, right? Grew up and I was like in special reading classes and terrible at spelling.
Yeah.
Like the only books my parents could get me to read was like Captain Underpants. And then
Captain Underpants.
I read Stephen Colbert's "I'm America and So Can You" in high school, and I did a book report on that. My teacher hated it. Well, everyone was doing "I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell," and then my buddy handed me Stephen Colbert because me and him watched the Colbert Report, and he handed me that book, and I read it, and I marked it with a crisp $20 bill, like it said to. So like those were the only books that I read, and then. I wrote the script. It's called Being in Your 20s, and I shot the 10-minute teaser, and I just couldn't get money to make it. We can wrap this up soon. I don't want to keep.
No, I was just checking the waves. Okay, you're good.
But whenever I couldn't get money to make it, I went through hell with another. I went through hell getting it. I went through some real hell in New York trying to get money for it. That's an off-air story.
Okay.
That. Now has a script called the Day I Met the Devil. It's now a script based on my experience in New York.
Interesting.
And that's an entire movie that I want to do in an entire one take, no cuts at all.
Oh, so like a
not Birdman style where they cut. Like this is an entire 2-hour movie,
legit,
no cuts. Yeah, like the way I experienced it. It's like a first-hand experience, not a single cut. You're gonna hit your damn marks, and you're gonna give me the performance you want.
Man, it's gonna be rough.
But like that's its own thing. Yeah. But I've run into a lot of trouble trying to get money to make this movie. Almost had $500,000 to make it at one point. Walked away from it just because the deal wasn't right. So I got to the point where I'm like, I want this story to be told, and I want to get it out there. And I'm like, I'm gonna shoot this movie one way or another. So I'm like, I'm gonna write a book. I'm gonna turn the script into a book, and I actually ended up adding so much to the story of the script. Like there's whole chapters that don't take place in the script that I want to. So I kind of want to make it into a series now. But yeah, I wrote about 100,000 words to make this book. And I've never been so happy to write the end at anything than when I did on that. But I will say this: if you're a writer and you're working on your script, and especially if you're a writer-director and you want to get into that character's head and know where they came from, because that's what it originally started out as. Yeah. Just knowing where that character came from and building that backstory so the actor would have it. because whenever I started cast actors, they would ask me about backstory, and a lot of times I didn't have answers. And, and I was like, I need these answers if I'm going to direct this. And that's whenever I started writing the backstories, and then the backstories turned into book chapters. And then these book chapters turned into whole things. And I mean, I have a couple. I have an entire chapter in there based on the Crusties that live under the PJ McCardle Bridge. Where I'll give you a little taste of it. So the main character, Tom, the stoner, gets kicked out of his parents' house. He gets kicked out of. I think he gets kicked out of the other character's Ray house because he can't get a job again.
Mm-hmm.
It's the reoccurring theme. So he doesn't have anywhere to live. So he goes and lives under. He meets some Crusties that are around a campfire, like one of those burn barrels under a bridge.
Yeah.
And the one Krusty gets shanked. So there's the Crusties who are like, they choose to be homeless. Like they have tents and everything, but they have like a flat, like the one guy has a generator and a flat screen and a PlayStation. like they just kind of like choose to be homeless.
Yeah.
It's not like the real homeless people out there. But there are like the junkie homeless. They call them roaches.
Okay.
So they invite him to go back to their campsite under the bridge, and he can stay with them for a little bit. And the one Krusty gets shanked by a roach. He shanks him with like a needle. But he goes back, and they're having like a almost like a drum circle type deal, like a hippie drum circle.
Mm-hmm.
And the one girl gives him a bowl to drink out of, and like he's like, oh, okay. And he like drinks the whole thing, and it turns out to be an entire bowl of ayahuasca. So she's like, you just drank enough ayahuasca for 25 people. And then he goes, what? She turns into a dog in front of his face. Her dog comes up and starts talking to him, and tells him to have a nice trip. Yeah. And then everything turns into a cartoon, right? Yeah. As he's walking through the woods, he's trying to find his way out of the woods, and everything turns into a cartoon. And all the grass turns into like high-rise buildings, and all the ants and bugs are like wearing suits and everything. And they're like, he's like Godzilla, and he's like, no, I'm friendly. Yeah. He's like, I want to love you. And then like they start flying like fighter jets at him, and then he like climbs. So he like starts climbing up a skyscraper. It's really he's climbing up a tree. And then he like they're shooting at him, and he's feeling this pain. What's really happening is he had stepped on a bunch of fire ants, had crawled up his leg or biting him, and then he climbed up a tree and pissed off a bunch of hornets. He's getting stung by hornets. This is what's really happening. But it's all happening as a cartoon. Yeah. And then he falls out of the tree, and these two aliens start talking to him, and the one's like waving like a lightsaber at him. And what it really is it's two more Crusties, and the one has a dildo.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, yeah, I wanted to get away from being political.
Yeah.
This is much better.
Yeah, this is the way to go, I guess.
Listen, it is either politics or dildos in 2020. That's one of the two with me.
Not really. Well, I think that's just in general. Like, it's not much to really talk about.
But he walks away from the aliens with the dildo, which really just Crusties, and he finds himself in a bear's cave, and the bear is wearing like a shirt and a tie, and it's like his spirit animal. Yeah. He's having a conversation. He's sitting there talking to a real bear in real life, right? And the bear's getting angry at him. For some reason, I can't remember why off the top of my head. You have to read the book, I guess. He bitch slaps the bear. Well, in real life, he smacks the bear across the face, and he makes the bear his bitch. And he gets on top of the bear, and the bear is getting pissed off because he's on top of him. Mm-hmm. So he starts riding the bear as the bear is running through like the woods, and he has a stick, and he's swinging it as he's on top of the bear. But the way he sees it is his bear friend is bringing him through with the zombie apocalypse, and he's smacking all the zombies with a sword. That's the way he's seeing it. Okay. And then he gets back to the Krusty camp. Yeah. And the bear's like, they're all having an orgy. Okay, all the Krusties are having they're all tripping on ayahuasca, and they're having a giant orgy. And the bear's like, well, I'm gonna join in. And Tom's like, I'm good. So, but what really happens is the bear is just eating all the Krusties because it's pissed off because Tom bitch slapped it. It got stung by a bunch of bees. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then he gets picked up by the cops because he's like wandering. He wanders into town.
Yeah.
He gets picked up by the cops because all the Krusties are running around naked, and he's the only one wearing like clothes.
Yeah.
So they're picking up all the Krusties naked, and they just think he's a drunk. So they throw him in a drunk tank. And his parents pick him up the next morning. The jail cell bars are peppermint like candy canes. But he's coming down off his trip, right?
Yeah.
He wakes up on like a fat man's lap, and the guard comes in, and the bars are peppermint candy canes, and he's dressed as an elf.
Yeah.
And he thinks he's the North Pole jail. And he walks out, his mom's there, and his dad's there, and yeah, and then they're so mad at him they can't even talk to him at this point.
Yeah.
So, but that's how that chapter goes. But there's like entire chapters where that's not in the normal script. Like I had just like
just laying out that character, and then this just flows from there.
I just kind of wanted to like explore what would happen like if he got involved with the Krusties.
Okay.
Because I've always wondered how the Krusties live and like what they do. I'm like, this is how I imagine them. This is kind of just like a thought experiment.
Just like experiencing certain things that, like certain ideas that you have.
Yeah, and then I mean, like I had like there's a whole nother chapter where I got some when I did the table read. I got some really good feedback. They're like, why does this? The one actress was like, why does this character have such big dick energy? I was like, what do you mean?
Big dick energy.
And she's like, every girl likes him. I'm like, that's not true. She's like, 90% of the girls that he's into like him. I'm like, and I did the math. I was like, you know what? You're right there. That's really good feedback. And the way the story panned out is like it just needed that.
Yeah.
For like how like it's like if you read the book or watch the movie, like it's not that way. But I got that feedback and it made a lot of sense. So I added another chapter about this girl that he was like he really had feelings for and like was falling for, and he can't get with her. He can't. She has no interest in him for reasons I don't want to get into because I want people to read the book.
Right.
That little feedback really helped develop that, and that whole thing developed into a whole nother chapter. Where I don't have to get too far into that, but like it's describing her background, the girl he's into, and it's based off of my experience working in like the indie film industry, where you just work for some like ridiculous people that have money for some reason. Yeah. And like there's this few productions that come in here that pay like shit, but they like support the whole indie scene. Mm-hmm. And it's just like based off of that, where there's just this obscene director, and he made this movie about furries. It's based off my movie Furtherhood. Yeah. And the character's based off of me if I was like an over-the-top person that actually had money. Okay. And a few other directors I had worked with, it's based off of. But yeah, it's like just being able to explore characters and really flesh it out. Like it really helped me develop the whole script, because now I want to take the script that I have and add those scenes, those chapters into the script. So it's going to go from an hour and a half movie to like a full like one season arc of like 30-minute episodes of like comedy gold. And I kind of like, if I can get it made, I'd really like to make it kind of into like almost, I don't think you'd call it an anthology. But like the first season would focus on Tom, and then season 2 would be a completely new group of people, like that, or it could follow someone else in it. Yeah. Well, but it can follow a different person in their 20s and what they go through, like a completely different story. Like this follows a stoner. Like what would happen if, like the idea would be like, what would happen if we followed someone who had it together and it all fell apart? Like the person, like the 20-year-old who went to school, got a job out of college, thought they had it all together, and then they're just like, I fucking hate what I do, and they just throw it all away. Like that could be the second season. Like like but they have nothing to do with that first one. But like it would, as a director, like I like adding things from my old movies. So like in the book and in the script, it talks about hobo hunters. It talks about different movies. It talks about in there like there's a car chase that's going on the TV, and what it is, it's actually reporting on the car chase from my one script, How the Others Live. So like all kind of like a View Askew universe.
Okay.
Where everything's kind of like little connected.
A little connected there, here and there. Yeah, that's cool.
But I think after I release this book, I'm gonna start turning my other script, How the Others Live, which is like an action movie, turning that into a script, into a book, and seeing where I can go from there, and just keep publishing books. I mean, it was really difficult, but whenever you finish writing that book, it is super, super satisfying.
Yeah, still trying to get there at some point, but yeah, I know what you... But
it came out of necessity because, like I was saying, is I wanted to make this script somehow. So I'm like, okay, well, if I make a book and I can sell books, if I can get $5 profit on every one, and I can get $10,000 copies sold, like that's enough to make the script, like low budget, like. So
not only that, but you're also getting that idea out there. So like you might get more investors that way as well, because you have people reading this book, and this is like and you're selling a bunch of copies, so everyone's gonna have let's say a bunch of people have them in their hands, and they start talking about them, and the buzz starts growing about it, and that's basically how people start pitching movie ideas based on books, is basically how, because the books become popular for one reason or another, mostly because of everyone's...
Well, I feel like there's not a whole lot of comedy books out there. Like, are there? Like, I don't get... Again, I'm dyslexic and I don't read a whole lot, but like... I feel like is there?
I mean, there's the author that comes to mind is Terry Pratchett. He passed away a couple years ago, but he did a comedy fantasy series. Okay. So he did a whole series of books. They're all connected, in the same universe, and it parodies this fantasy world and just all these like ridiculous characters and the ridiculous things that they go through. So yeah, there are certain there the comedy books out there. I'm trying to think of any other ones besides that. That's
like, I know there's like I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell, which was a great one, but that movie ended up being terrible. But like the problem is like that was just a bunch of stories from that dude that like they somehow managed to like squeeze together into a storyline.
Yeah. There's got to be a couple out there. I can't think of anything right now. But comedy is, comedy books can work.
Yeah.
You just have to. You basically have to find. I'm not saying this from any experience, but I would assume you would have to find the voice, that really drives that story, that also sort of drives the humor of it. In a way, you have to tell it in a certain way that's funny and ironic in a certain sense.
Well, at the beginning of the book, I talk about the rules of the book, much like I'm America and So Can You. There's a couple rules of the book. Okay. But in that time, I also talk about the narrator and what he sounds like. Yeah. He sounds like Morgan. What was it? He sounds like if Morgan Freeman and someone else had a love child. This would be the voice of this character.
Yeah, so it's like setting that...
But he's got a real sarcastic tone, and he's always bashing in on the characters and giving backstory. And
yeah, so basically you're narrating that sort of what you can expect from this book. Yeah. This sort of humor that's is going to really drive it. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is another one I was thinking of. While we were talking about that, but that's another good comedy.
But the movie was even great too. I loved the movie. Like, that was one where the book was just as good as the movie. Yeah. I don't see myself becoming an author, but I could definitely see, as a director and as a writer, I could definitely see myself like writing like mini novellas almost to help the actors know where the characters are coming from.
Yeah. I mean, they're. I mean, I'm sure. I don't know anybody off the top of my head. Maybe you know somebody like a director that might do that.
I don't know anyone that does that. Again,
Okay.
I might just be crazy. And I know a lot of.
Well, I know certain authors will basically write what some consider like their bibles for, say a series that they're working for. It's just all the backstories and little details of it. I mean, I have a couple of my own, like because of some of my crazy projects that I've put together that I just have like pages and pages of backstory and little details. I have timelines mapped out.
So when are we gonna make one of these? You've helped me make so many of my shows. Like, when are you just gonna be like, "Hey Joe, I got a favor to call in. Like, can you come help me with this? I got a story I want to make." Like,
I don't know. The problem is I need. I don't know. I need the attention span and just to just get rid of all the self-conscious thoughts and doubts and stuff, and it's just like a whole thing.
Well, listen, man, whenever you decide that you want to make one of these into like a movie or a script, I will be the first one to help you.
Oh, I appreciate that.
You've helped me with so many of my projects. So.
I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, definitely. I am actually working on something I'm trying to like submit something for a contest, but it's like, I don't know. I have so many things going on right now, and it's so hard to find time to, like, it's just like I have little projects here and there, and then I'm just trying to like find a good balance, like work, relaxation balance, so I'm not just like driving myself off the deep end. And then I have my little, I mean, the little projects I mentioned before around the house and like setting up new gear and, I've been trying to do like online streaming, but it's been a whole hassle of trying to get that to work and, understanding things and trying to teach myself new things while I'm just like in lockdown and stuff like that. So, it's been an interesting balance. If it is even balanced at all, it's probably not, but, just an interesting mix of different things to keep myself busy. But it sounds like you've been doing a lot to kind of keep yourself busy too.
Sort of. I mean, like I'm always hustling. I'm always trying to get to that. I've been trying not to let coronavirus get to me mentally. It did a couple times where it's I'm fucking
been there too with me. I mean, there's just like weeks I just like I'll go through like a couple like a day to maybe even like sometimes I've been through like a whole week where I'm just like in a lull and I just can't do anything.
Yeah, like I've had a couple days and I've had weeks where I'm just like, I'm gonna get a job in Pittsburgh as like X or Z that has nothing to do with film just so I can move home.
Yeah.
Because like, whenever I'm working down Georgia, it's fine. Like,
right.
I'm fine with it. But now that I'm not working, like I'm away from friends and family. I got a couple real good friends down there that like I hang out with and everything. But at the same time, it's like it's not my friends that I grew up with. It's not my like I went over to my sister's house and hung out with her today, and I can't go golfing with my dad, like when I'm in Georgia. So it's just every time I come home, my niece is like 4 times as big. Like, so missing a lot being down there, and whenever I'm working, it distracts me from how much I'm missing up here.
Yeah.
So like moving up here, especially the coronavirus, like since I haven't been working, it's really just been like, all right, do you want to move back? Like, and it's gone through my head, but at the same time, me and Stephanie were talking about buying a house in Georgia, so it's like, let's either plant those roots or come home, and like. It's just a weird spot to be in. Like, I just want this shit to be over so I can like, get my life going again, because it feels like a career's going nowhere whenever I'm sitting there.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, but you also got to think like we're all kind of in the same boat. Like we're all in this together where we're in this weird spot where it's hard to really like get things done and like do what you want to do. Like there's so many things that I could be doing. I mean, if I could get out there more, but I can't. I'm stuck here, and so I'm just like, there's so many projects I've just kind of had to put on hold, and again, it's like with the like being stuck at home, and I'm just like it's hard, like because I have so many just distractions here at home that's make it hard to stay focused sometimes, and that's why I have to get out there and kind of, you know, do more hands-on stuff, because it then I can focus on one thing, you know, and it's just like it's so hard, and you know, but that's what it like kind of comes down to, is just that you have to think about, you know, we kind of all are going through this together, so like, you know, everyone's kind of just has to put their plans on hold, and everyone just has to find a way to kind of sort of support each other this time.
I think the best thing some like people need to do, I don't know why I am preaching here, but I think the best thing, because it helped me, was finding something that you can do from home to make yourself better at something. Mine was writing a book. Yeah. And it was also taking up golfing. So I don't know if you know anything about golf.
I do not.
So do you know what a handicap is?
Yes.
Okay. So essentially, I was about a 12, 13 handicap in March. Okay. I'm down to a 1 handicap.
Nice.
Coronavirus has been the best things for my golf game. But like, it's managed to keep me sane is the thing.
Yeah.
So like, I think if you can find something that, and not everyone has that luxury where like they have kids they got to take care of. Not everyone can just go spend their time on a golf course like I've been lucky enough to do. But you can write a book when you're sitting at home.
Yeah, and I've been doing kind of the same thing. As like, I picked up, I mean, like I said, I've been kind of teaching myself how to use like stuff from home. Like, I just got this audio mixer that we were talking about earlier, so I'm teaching myself how to like sort of mix stuff with audio, and because audio's never really been my strong like thing, but like if I make myself record stuff, you know, using it, then I'm sort of teaching myself how that works, and how the whole setup can work, and you know how to use the different inputs and stuff like that, and you know, incorporating that into projects. Like the streaming is another thing that I didn't really know a whole lot about, so I'm teaching myself how streaming works, and how, you know, you use a software program like OBS, and you can, you know, connect that to like, you know, camera inputs, audio inputs, stuff like that, and sort of make a whole like home production basically.
I gotta figure out how to do that, because part of that YouTube channel I was talking about, I want to stream playing like, so there's a PlayStation game that you can play, like it's almost like Tiger Woods PGA Tour, like from the back in the day.
Okay.
They have like a new one now. It's called like 2K11. It's a golf game.
Yeah.
So I want to stream playing that because I feel like that'd be fun to add to a golf channel. But I have no idea where even to start with that when I'm so out of loop on how to stream.
Yeah. If you need any pointers or anything, just let me
know.
Oh,
don't worry, I'll call you. Don't worry, I always call you whenever I need something.
All right. Yeah, no problem at all.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to keep you too long, and it's getting up there.
Yeah, we have been recording for a while.
Sorry, it was 2.5 hours.
No, hour and a half. I wasn't even looking at the time, so.
Yeah, I don't want to keep
checking levels.
Okay, but is there anything else, man?
No. Any other projects you want to plug?
Obviously, my book. It's called Being in Your 20s.
Okay.
Obviously that should be dropping here at the beginning of September. I'm hoping to have that out. I'm filming the film Child Warfare at the end of October. We're gonna need crew for that. You can email childwarfarefilm@gmail.com. Send resumes. We're gonna need kid actors, so any parents out there listening that want their kids.
Where are you primarily going to be filming that at?
In Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Yeah, we're filming so the grant is through a Pittsburgh foundation.
Okay.
So we have to shoot in Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
I got that going on. I got Bogey or Better going on. Trying to think of anything else. Hopefully the show that I worked on all last year will be airing on Amazon Prime. That's I don't know if that's released yet or not, or what I can say or can't say about that.
No, you'll have to keep...
Not that because I am nowhere near press worthy for them. I sit in. I am the Pam Beasley of that production. Okay, I am Pam Beasley.
You still played a part on that. So.
But that show was awesome to work on. I learned so much. Got to meet some really cool people.
That's always good when you can kind of. Yeah, when it turns into a learning experience more than just work. So
yeah, I mean, like I got really close with the people there, and I've made some really good friends that I still talk to today, even outside of work. It's being in the office is much different than being on set. I will definitely say that. It's a different vibe.
Because I've been working an office job for, past couple years now, and I've still been freelancing on the side, so it's just like it's such a weird contrast.
Yeah. Oh, the music video we worked on. Tractor by Jared Berry. Yeah. That is out now. Yeah. What'd you think of it?
I thought it was pretty cool.
Like, that little black magic has some power behind it, man. I love that camera.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I called you about that, because that slow motion looked beautiful.
I'm glad that worked out. I haven't really played around with the slow motion on it too much. Like, I don't really shoot much in 60 frames, so I just it was good that you knew what to do with that, because I was just like, I don't really touch that much.
It's like, so it's essentially like you just double if you want to shoot. So we were shooting in 24, and I just had you shoot in 60, so I could slow it down to like 60%.
Yeah.
Instead of 50. But like, and then it just smooths out. It just plays real nice and silky smooth, and you have to worry about like how much light is hitting your sensor, because whenever you double that, you're affecting how much light is hitting the sensor, and you also have to double your shutter speed. So if you were shooting at 60 frames, you have to have that shutter at like 120 rather than 60.
You start kind of having to calculate some things out.
But it's digital, so it's not like it's film where you have to do math. You can still look at the image on the back of your camera and be like, this looks good.
That's true.
You can go off the eye. It's not like you're sitting there with a light meter and you're like, I hope this looks good. They're going to get the dailies back the next day.
Yeah.
Just like, shit. I wanted to shoot my short film on 16 millimeter. Again, $20,000 is not to make a movie is not as much as people think it is. Like, I was like, I can shoot this on 16 millimeters. It's gonna be great. And then I looked at how much insurance is. I looked up how much SAG I have to pay, and I have to look up. I was like, oh god. Well, and I was like, oh, well, we'll shoot it on a red. We'll rent a red. And then I looked up other stuff. I was like, God damn it.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, even when you hear about small budget films, they still go for like, millions. Just
a low budget film is considered like $5 million.
Yeah.
Like, and that's
ridiculous.
That's 17 days of shooting. So Blumhouse usually their $5 million movies usually shoots for like anywhere from 17 to 25 days.
Yeah.
An entire movie. Like,
yeah.
The bigger, like, when I was on Bad Boys, I was just an additional PA, and they had been shooting for like 60 days before that, and then I was on for an additional 60 days.
Jeez.
Like, it was like 120 days, and then they went to Mexico for like another 2 weeks, and then they came back for additional photography. Like,
that's an insane amount of money. I can't even imagine how much money that
was
sunk
like
into that.
I think that was like a $200 million movie or something like that. I don't know. And then like you work on the Avengers and stuff like that. Like, they got 7 different units shooting at the same time. Like,
right. And
what is going on here? Like,
not even considering like all the stuff they have to do in post, and
just shoot it on a green screen. We'll put them together.
Yeah.
You can shoot Captain America over here in Atlanta, and we'll shoot out Black Widow in London. Don't worry.
I'm wondering if the pandemic keeps going like this, if that's what we're going to start doing. Is like
just
doing skeleton crews with like green screens, and just everything's going to have to be put together in post.
No.
No?
I don't think so. I think, I know Tyler Perry, his solution was he is getting all of the crew to stay on the lot, and they're not allowed to leave.
Oh, so everyone's like in this like lockdown.
While they shoot his movie. And it's not union.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah. So it's a non-union movie, so I can only imagine what it's like.
Yeah.
And I know SAG is real iffy about it. And then you'll have like the auteurs like Quentin Tarantino, who will only shoot on film and won't shoot in front of a green screen, and be like, no, you will get COVID because we love making movies. Like, his saying.
God.
The Mad
I don't
Men.
know why, and this is like a very, very unpopular opinion, but Tarantino really, like, his stuff really kind of rubs me the wrong way for some reason.
Why does it rub you the wrong way?
I don't know. It's just like, it feels snobby. Like,
It's Tarantino.
Yeah, and I don't
He knows where he's coming.
like that. And I can't, like, I enjoy, I appreciate his work, but like, I honestly, he's not even in like my top 20 directors. Because,
Really?
Yeah, I just don't, it's just the style of his stuff is not for me. I don't know.
See, my thing is like I have movies of his that I absolutely love, but then there's people that absolutely love the Kill Bill movies, and I'm like, meh. Like,
Yeah.
Like, I love, like, the sword fight scenes.
Right.
But the story's not that interesting to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate his stuff. Like, I appreciate his work, and I understand, like, where he's coming from and why, that is a work of art, as some would consider it. It's just, it's not, like, everyone has a different taste, I guess, and it's just really not part of my taste. Like,
I feel like he's just really getting into Westerns right now. Like,
he's kind of been doing that for a while, hasn't he?
So there was, I feel like he just wants to make.
I mean, Django was kind of a Western in a way. It had that style to it. And Hateful Eight was...
It was a Western. It was very much a Western.
Yeah.
And then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it deals about a Western star.
Okay.
Like, I don't know.
Why doesn't he just straight up make a Western?
He did. It was a Hateful Eight.
Oh, well, okay.
So
I don't know. I'm imagining like a spaghetti Western kind of...
I feel like I wish he would, like, I don't know. He just wasted three of his 10 movies on Westerns. It's like, explore a sci-fi movie, dude. I want to see what you would do with Star Wars. Like,
I mean, there was that rumor for a while that he was going to do a Star Trek movie.
Yeah, but that wouldn't count as, like, one of his movies. I'm talking about, like, his
true.
10 movies. I want to see him, like, come
original, like, he wrote, directed, produced
I want to see what he does with a genre like sci-fi, like, or I don't really watch horror, but like a slasher film.
Like, I mean, Death Proof was kind of in that category.
I guess
it was like a sort of like a serial killer kind of slasher kind of vibe to it.
But like, I want to see him do something like that, or like, I would love to see him like I would love to see him do like a remake of a movie. I don't know, like, I don't know what it would be, but just like a movie that was poorly executed in the past. Kind of like they did with the Fantastic Four, whenever they just like made those movies to keep the rights, and then they came back with them like years later. But like, I want to see him do like a very poorly executed film, and Tarantino it up. Or I want to see him do just something. Don't waste 3 of your movies on Westerns, man.
What if he did like a remake of The Room? How would that be?
The Room, directed by Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
I feel like he could get money for that, like that. Like, the same script is the thing. It's just, how would he direct it?
I don't know. It's
how the difference between Tommy Wiseau and Quentin Tarantino. We'll really find out if a good director can fix a bad script. Yeah,
that's true.
Because the production design and everything was behind The Room. It was good. He spared no expense. He shot on 2 cameras at once, both digital and film.
I never wasn't there a...
Dude, Quentin Tarantino working... I want to see Quentin Tarantino work with Seth Rogen. I don't know why. I feel like that'd be the weirdest movie I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, he did have Jonah Hill in one of his movies.
Yeah.
Or a couple of his movies, I thought.
But I want to see Seth Rogen, like, star in a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Like, he is the main character.
Yeah, like a Leo or Brad Pitt from Inglourious Basterds in Hollywood. Like
get some actors that he has
never worked with.
Yeah.
Get Uma Thurman out of there. I don't want to see it. But he's only got 1 movie left because he wasted them all on fucking Westerns.
Oh, I feel like he's going to go back on that at some point.
He said he's just done with it after 10 movies, though.
Yeah, but a lot of people. I mean, how many times has what's his face said he's done with acting and he like comes out retired?
Oh, Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah. So.
Oh, that's Daniel Day-Lewis. He can do what he wants.
Yeah, and Quentin Tarantino can do what he wants. So.
But I feel like he's just kind of like built himself into this position where he has to do the 10 movies.
I don't know.
Like, I don't know. Again, yeah, I guess he can do whatever the hell he wants, but
like George R. R. Martin said he was going to release the next Game of Thrones book today.
Yeah,
like a year ago. And if it wasn't out by today, apparently he was going to be tossed in a volcano or something. I don't know. I read snippets of it today, and I was just like, well, that didn't come true. Like, people just, I don't know.
Like, didn't he say that those books were going to be different from the TV show?
Yeah. He said they were not going to follow the way the TV show did, because I think that they took some liberties with the TV show, or he gave them an outline of what the books were going to be, and they kind of just went with their own direction or something like that. I don't know. I didn't watch the last season because I was just so disappointed with how it was going, so...
I watched up until the last episode. I stopped. I binged all of Game of Thrones in like 3 weeks.
Oh, really?
And then I just didn't watch the last episode.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, honestly, probably the best thing you could have done. I was like, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't watch the last season. I stopped before the last season, and because the season before that even was just like, it felt like everything was just sort of sloppily done compared to the previous seasons, so I just...
There's an actor I want to work with, Peter Dinklage.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like he would just be a fantastic actor to work with in so many different ways.
Yeah. And he's very, like, versatile. Like, he's done, like, comedies, and he's done, I mean...
He was an elf.
Everything. Yeah. And, you know, it's just, like he would... I mean, from the interviews I've seen, it seems like he's just, like, a generally all-around cool guy, so...
I want to work with him and Emilia Clarke, and I don't know why I want to work with Emilia. What's her name? Emilia Clarke, right?
Yeah, Emilia Clarke.
The Mother of Dragons.
Yeah, she seems like pretty cool. Like, I feel like she hasn't really found, like...
Other than Game of Thrones, like...
Other than Game of Thrones, like, she hasn't found her big break, per se. Like, she's big now, but, like, all the stuff that she's kind of done...
Other than Game of Thrones hasn't really been...
Yeah. Like, the Terminator movie was pretty bad.
I heard that was trash.
Yeah. It wasn't great. And, I mean, other than that, I mean, she did, like, a comedy flick, I think.
She did that Christmas movie. I went and saw that. It's called Last Christmas. It's based on the Last Christmas song.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Last Christmas,
yeah.
I gave you my heart. Yeah, that shit. It was based on that. Can you auto-tune that part?
I could try.
I'm joking. Yeah, but yeah, you gotta do like the T-Pain auto-tune right there.
Oh man, I don't know if I have an auto-tune filter.
No, you can. It's built into.
Oh,
this is Audition.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's built in.
Oh shit, I'll have to play with that later.
It's built in there, so you feel free to auto-tune, man. If you do, send me that clip so I can use it as a ringtone. Okay. Yeah, she's based on that. And spoiler alert. I don't care. But the spoiler alert is for what I'm about to say. Yeah, it's based on the song Last Christmas, I Gave You My Heart. So I want you to take a guess what happens in the movie. Okay, hold on. Have you seen the setup for it yet? Like, have you seen the trailer for it?
I think I did see parts of the trailer. I don't remember.
Emilia Clarke falls in love with this guy.
Yeah.
And she's like wigging out and everything, because she was in a car wreck or something the year before.
Okay.
Spoiler alert. Last Christmas she was in a car wreck and she was having heart failure, or something was happening, that she was having heart failure, and this guy had died, and they gave his heart to her. And he was the only person she was the only person who could see him because she had his heart inside of her. And because she was like falling in love with him. And then like he said, we can't be together. and it's because he was a ghost and he could see her. What? Last Christmas I gave you my heart. You go fuck yourself, you shitty hack writers. It was terrible.
They took that
literally. Yes.
Jesus.
That is Last Christmas with Emilia Clarke.
I didn't even know there was like a supernatural element to that. It's like she's just like seeing the ghost of.
And then like it does the classic where they flip through all the scenes that she was talking to someone, like she's changing in public, and she's like, stand in front of me so no one sees me, and in reality she's just changing in the middle of the street, like buck naked.
If you think about it, that's really sad, because then it just seems like she's like crazy.
Yeah, it just means she was schizophrenic.
Yeah. like it's just like, if it wasn't a comedy, like you'd probably be pretty bummed out by the end of that movie.
Like, yeah. Like it's supposed to be a sad but cute ending. Oh, they're in love because she has his heart. Like, God, I hate you. Like, you were making terrible movies. And like, I thought it was bad when you were remaking movies. Mm-hmm. Like, you've run out of so many Christmas ideas.
It's just like
that you're stealing Christmas songs to make into movies.
Like literal Christmas songs. So when can we expect Little Drummer Boy? Are you going to write the script for that?
How would Little Drummer Boy go?
I don't even know. It's just throwing out
Let's
something.
think of one of those Christmas songs that could totally end up being like, so Last Christmas I Gave You My Heart. Like, that's a pretty original. So what's like a Santa Baby? Where like I feel like that's
where was that song that's like kind of got like a rapey vibe to it? What's that song called?
That's Baby It's Cold Outside.
Yeah, what if you actually turn that into like a stalkerish kind of like horror sort of movie,
led by Bill Cosby?
Yeah, something like that.
But,
yeah, basically.
But I mean, yeah, you could do that. Like, that could be a horror flick for sure.
Yeah, that would be pretty interesting, because I don't think anybody's actually done that before, ever since, like, I don't know, people. Wasn't that like a big deal like a year or two ago? Like, they stopped playing that song on the radio.
Oh, that was this Christmas. That was this past year. They stopped playing.
It feels like decades ago at this point.
No, well, that is just because your body is aging rapidly after consuming so much bullshit about the coronavirus that you have forgotten that everyone was 7 months ago. The biggest concern and fight was they weren't playing "Baby It's Cold Outside."
Oh my God!
And now, is this pandemic real? Is the real question. Are we actually in a pandemic? So there's that. So Baby It's Cold Outside is a good one. What's one that like you wouldn't expect?
I mean,
Rudolph could be some sort of, I mean, I guess it already is a children's cartoon, but I mean, that could be some sort of action movie.
Rudolph. Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, they did a kind of like a parody of that on.
But I mean, like, you don't call it Rudolph, right? Like, it's like you just take that basic story, of like the kid that they tease and everything.
You just like hire Jason Statham and like give him a red nose for some reason. I don't know.
I feel like you could use like Frosty the Snowman could totally be about like cocaine smugglers. I had an idea actually for a Christmas movie that was about that took place in Miami.
Okay.
And I had like a few basic like ideas that I want to like work the movie in. I don't know the story. I know it deals with drugs and it uses all Christmas music as like the score. So like it opens up with Run Run Rudolph, where it starts out with a guy who was in a cocaine deal, and he did a bunch of cocaine, and his nose is bleeding, and he's running from someone, and it starts off with Run Run Rudolph as he's running through the streets of Miami with a big bag of cocaine. And then it ends with White Christmas, when there's like a C-47 filled with cocaine over Miami, and for some reason all the cocaine starts flying out, and it looks like it's snowing in Miami. I'm talking like it's like there's like an inch of coke on the ground, and people are just going wild, like just an assload of it. Like that was an idea. But like I don't remember the full story that I had behind. I had it all like mapped out. My fiance is like, "You have too much fucking time on your hands." Like,
Gotta get a good. I mean, there hasn't really been a good like R-rated Christmas movie since what, like Bad Santa?
there was A Night Before with Seth Rogen.
Oh yeah,
That was funny. That was cute.
yeah. I forgot about that one. I don't even remember what happened in that movie.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt's parents died whenever he was little, so Seth Rogen and Falcon.
Oh yeah,
That was Falcon, right?
Yeah,
Falcon.
What's his? I can't even remember the actor's
They
name.
they're best friends with them, and Falcon's taking steroids because he's an NBA player. And
Yeah, I need to rewatch that. Like maybe I'll do it next Christmas.
I am thinking of the right actor, right?
Yeah. God, why can't I think of his name? He was in the new season of Altered Carbon.
Yeah. Which that show is wild.
Yeah.
I love that show.
The second season was kind of a disappointment compared to the first season. I thought. But
I didn't get to watch the second season. Yeah, we watched the first episode. My fiance's like, "Can I watch The Circle?" And I'm like, "I'm gonna fucking kill you. I want to watch this movie, and you want to watch The Circle?" No, it wasn't that. It was what's that? Love Is Blind is what she wanted to watch, where
okay.
they talk through a wall and then they get engaged without seeing each other. Yeah, that's a game show. That's a real thing, people.
Oh.
You just that is how out of idea Hollywood is. They just that and Last Christmas.
But he gave her his heart.
It would have been better if he woke up and like his kidneys were gone.
He was still alive, like he was kept alive by some sort of weird machine.
Oh, that was another bit, a part of it. The guy wakes up, someone wakes up in like a vat of ice, and their liver's been taken by like the black markets. and that Christmas song is on.
Oh, that's perfect.
Like they're just like stupid, like just using the Christmas music like that.
Just like finding like a song, like a scene to match like every like popular Christmas song or something.
What's the one from Sound of Music? My Favorite Things.
Okay.
Well, like when the dog bites, the guy gets bit in the ass by a dog. When the bee stings, the guy gets shot.
You could do All I Want for Christmas is My Two Front Teeth, and somebody gets their front teeth knocked
Yeah,
out.
like it could be like an underground boxing match or something like that.
Yeah.
The guy gets his teeth knocked out.
Yeah.
What about a hippopotamus for Christmas?
Hippopotamus for Christmas?
I want a hippopotamus for Christmas.
I don't even know what song that is.
You never heard that?
I probably have, but
hippopotamus will do. Oh,
dude, I avoid Christmas songs like a pandemic. Basically, because I worked at a gas station for so many years, and they would just play Christmas songs nonstop for an entire month in December, and I can't stand it anymore.
Yeah, whenever I worked at Best Buy, they would play Christmas music from the beginning of November till about the end of January.
Yeah, it's terrible. Like having to come into work and listen to that every day. It's just
it's nauseating.
The worst.
And it's the same ones on loop.
Yeah.
Oh, what? All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. What could go with that?
I mean,
something with Nick Cannon.
Oh God! I was gonna make some awful comment about Mariah Carey, but yeah, that works too.
I know. Cast him in it, and then don't tell him we're gonna use that song. I think that would be funnier, as if he was the lead, and you didn't tell him that was gonna be like the title song. I want to make a movie like that where I just troll the actors.
So like a punked, but like
a narrative punked.
Didn't they try that?
They made Bad Grandpa.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Where they just punked everyone around him, and he was dressed. Johnny Knoxville was dressed up like a grandpa.
But that had a story to it, right?
Yeah, it had a narrative to it.
Yeah.
He was like taking his grandson across the country, and
I never watched.
That's a good one.
I was never big on like the Jackass stuff, so like that kind of just reminded me of that.
So Bad Grandpa was funny.
Okay.
It had a cute story, and it was hitting camera style like Jackass, but it was better than Action Point. Action Point was an actual movie. It kind of went along the lines of like The Ringer.
Okay.
Where it was an actual movie.
I think I remember seeing something about that.
I just couldn't get into Action Point.
Okay. They had that. There was another one. Wait, no. Didn't Johnny Knoxville do like a house party type movie or something like that?
Did he? I don't know.
Or maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. What was that one by? Hold on. Or didn't who's it? The Andre? Why am I blanking on his name? Andre. Or Eric Andre. Didn't Eric Andre do like a movie like that? I thought.
I don't know. I would imagine.
What was it called? Oh, my dishes are done. Bad Trip? Was that what it was? It wasn't that long ago. Blah. I don't know. But yeah. I don't know. They've definitely done a couple of those, but definitely could do a unique spin on it with the right idea.
Bad Trip. I'm trying to think of that. I don't know the movie. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it.
Yeah, I don't.
With
yeah,
Eric Andre, like from
I don't think that's the
Eric Andre show.
Yeah. I don't think that's the movie I was thinking of. It looks like it's an actual like scripted comedy. I don't know what I was thinking of. Maybe I was thinking of somebody else. I have no idea.
All right. Well, I had a blast.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut us off, but I do need to go home and I had to do rewrites to the script because I thought of a genius idea on my way out here.
Nice.
So.
Awesome. Yeah. Man. I think we probably have your social media stuff before, but where can people remind people where they can?
Oh yeah. So you can find my website with my demo reel and anything else if you want to hire me at www.themindofjoebucci.com. Bucci is spelled with a it's spelled like Bucci Gucci with a B, Bucci. And if you don't know how to spell Joe or the mind of, you should probably go back to second grade. And then you can follow me on Twitter. I believe it's just Mind of Joe Bucci. No, and Instagram should be The Mind of Joe Bucci. And I don't accept random people on Facebook, so you're just kind of SOL there.
Yeah.
My book will be out for sale on my website. It'll probably also be for sale on its own website.
Cool.
And then Child Warfare, I'm hoping to hit festivals. So my big one is I really want to hit is Sundance. I want to hit Sundance. I want to hit the big ones, because I feel like it's a good enough script and it's got a powerful message behind it that.
Yeah, definitely.
That they will eat that up.
Yeah,
so.
I'm looking forward to seeing it in festivals.
Well, if you want, I need crew. So if you want to work on it, you can witness it
definitely.
firsthand.
I will definitely help you out.
Yeah, I don't know where you want to work on it, but we'll talk about that at a later date.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Sounds good.
Man. Thanks you so much for having me on.
Yeah, man. So that was my discussion with Joe Bucci. Hopefully you enjoyed that second part of that interview. Again, if you want to learn anything more about him or his projects, I will post up some links wherever this podcast gets posted. So definitely go follow him, follow what happens with Child Warfare. Like I said, that just wrapped filming last month, so definitely keep an eye on that. This was, from the way it sounded, an amazing project that came from him. Something that he's really passionate about, so definitely give that go look that up and keep an eye on that, and definitely show him your love and support. So thanks again for listening. I'll be back real soon with another episode. Hopefully soon. We'll have a couple minor changes to the layout of this podcast. We're working on a few things to add. I asked Dan Soriano, who was on the podcast before, to help me create a song for the podcast, something that is would be free for me to use. I'm not going to get DMCA'd for using it. Something like that, but also something that really follows the theme of the podcast and really gives it a good, gives it character. So definitely be looking out for that real soon. I really appreciate the help from him and all the boys from Nefel. I actually have another podcast in the pipeline with Jake Horn from Nefel. So that one's going to be coming real soon. Just keep an eye out for details on that, and just keep checking on the social media pages, on the website. The website's cypherimedia.com, newly renovated cypherimedia.com. So, give that a look. I'm still working out some design things, but it's for the most part where I want it to be for right now, until I decide to change things up again. But yeah, definitely go check this. Give Joe a follow. Keep an eye on this podcast and any other projects I'm working on. I appreciate all the love and support I've been seeing from this or for this podcast, and for the other projects I've been working on. So I appreciate it so very much. If you do like what you see or hear, give me a like or follow wherever you are watching or listening to this at. It definitely helps to keep me going with this podcast. So with that, appreciate your time, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.